A reading from the book of Genesis. The word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, "Fear not, Abram, I am your shield. I will make your reward very great." But Abram said, "O Lord God, what good will your gifts be if I keep on being childless and have as my heir the steward of my house, Eliezer?" Abram continued, "See, you have given me no offspring, and so one of my servants will be my heir." Then the word of the Lord came to him, "No, that one shall not be your heir. Your own issue shall be your heir." The Lord took Abram outside and said, "Look up at the sky and count the stars if you can. Just so," he added, "shall your descendants be." Abram put his faith in the Lord, who credited it to him as an act of righteousness. The Lord took note of Sarah as he had said he would. He did for her as he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time that God had stated. Abraham gave the name Isaac to this son of his, whom Sarah bore him. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God.
Responsorial Psalm. The Lord remembers his covenant forever.
The Lord remembers his covenant forever.
Give thanks to the Lord, invoke his name. Make known among the nations his deeds. Sing to him, sing his praise. Proclaim all his wondrous deeds.
The Lord remembers his covenant forever.
Glory in his holy name. Rejoice, O hearts that seek the Lord. Look to the Lord in his strength. Constantly seek his face.
The Lord remembers his covenant forever.
You descendants of Abraham, his servants, sons of Jacob, his chosen ones, he, the Lord, is our God. Throughout the earth, his judgments prevail.
The Lord remembers his covenant forever.
He remembers forever his covenant, which he made binding for 1,000 generations, which he entered into with Abraham, and by his oath to Isaac.
The Lord remembers his covenant forever. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, alleluia. The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. There was also a prophetess, Anna, of the daughter of Phanuel, the tribe of Asher. She was advanced in years, having lived 7 years with her husband after her marriage, then as a widow until she was 84. She never left the temple, but worshiped night and day with fasting and prayer. And coming forward at that very time, she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to all who were awaiting the redemption of Jerusalem. When they had fulfilled all the prescriptions of the law of the Lord, they returned to Galilee, to their own town of Nazareth. The child grew and became strong, filled with wisdom, and the favor of God was upon him. The Gospel of the Lord. Just a few days ago, I caught Pawn Stars on the History Channel, and one of the people there was bringing in an Olympic torch to sell. And so they say, "Well, where'd you get this thing?" I said, "Actually," he says, "I ran with this torch at the 1984 Los Angeles Olympic Games." Wow, so he finally decides not to sell it. But the metaphor of passing on the torch is a beautiful one, isn't it? Where you take your turn, you might be passing on the baton in a relay race, but we tend to use the phrase to pass on the torch, just to give it that sense of heritage, and that it was my turn now, it's your turn now. So it's your turn to carry on the torch. You pick up the mantle, so to speak, as we know from Elijah and Elisha. That's what's going on here in the gospel. The longer form actually was, half of it was what we heard yesterday, okay? It was Simeon. Simeon and Anna are regarded as the best of what the Old Testament has to offer. They're the best of people. They're prayerful people. They're not priests or nuns or anything like that, keep in mind, please, okay? And Anna is described as a prophetess. Why? She doesn't prophesy, but she's open to the Holy Spirit, who does speak through all the prophets, as our creed tells us, okay? So she's open in her prayerfulness, simply open in her prayerfulness, worshiping night and day till she was 84 years old, fasting in prayer, but that's her life. And because this is the way she is docile to the Spirit, she appears at just this right very time to be able to embrace the child. That's a lesson for us in many ways, and there are additional lessons for us as well. In the meditation that was in the Magnificat today from Pope John Paul II, he talks about the nature of the family being, in its ideal, a fundamental community of life and love. And insofar as we can do that, we can take the model of the Holy Family. And in our Office of Readings today, Pope Paul VI, in a pilgrimage that he made to the Holy Land in 1964, is in Nazareth. And he talks about how beautiful it is to learn from the Holy Family, to learn about work, to learn about prayer, to learn about silent meditation, quietness. It's not an accident, I don't think, that one of my spiritual heroes, Charles de Foucault, who founded the Little Brothers of Jesus, actually founded by somebody else after his death, he first of all started as a simple person, ultimately becoming a priest, but living in Nazareth. All he wanted to do was to be just a simple, quiet, older brother in the Holy Family. Nothing else. Nice, quiet, pulled away, silent. It's an interesting model for us. And the lesson that we can finally learn, which isn't specifically in our gospel today, but it would be in the last of the infancy narrative excerpts that we could get, okay, with the finding of Jesus in the temple. We're reminded there again that Mary kept all these things about Jesus in her heart and meditated on them. So for us today, the one lesson that we can really take from the Feast of the Holy Family, I think, is the beauty and the need of quiet meditation on the meaning of Jesus, so that we, whenever, can be docile to the Spirit. And we will never know for sure, without that kind of fidelity, whether or not tomorrow will be the day that, being open to the Spirit, we may find ourselves in a special position like Anna did. And even if we don't, that's okay, because some people are called to be out there, so to speak, okay, like Jesus, like John the Baptist. Others are called to be in there, not out there, but in there. Think of Joseph. Think of those 30 years, traditionally speaking, of the Holy Family in Nazareth. Think of that quietness and that respect. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're longing for in our families. So we can pray for that today and pray for that gift for our children, for our spouses, for all of our parents, and for all those who love us. Let us stand and pray.